This film is brought to you by 4-H, America's largest youth development organization, in collaboration with Montana State University and Terrapod.
Well, we're in the Gallatin Valley of Montana, and there's the Bridger Mountains just to the east of here, which are not that tall, but they're pretty magnificent. To the south, there's Bozeman and larger mountains, completely surrounded by mountains, and a large valley, has a lot of farming in it. We have several water rights, which come from mountain springs, which feed creeks. I'm Will Wright. I've been working on the family farm for about 3 years. The farm has been in the family since my great-great-grandfather started it. I started working with biodiesel for a science fair project, and 3 years ago I had a science fair project that was biodiesel on the farm. And I tested to see if using a simple batch process, a farmer could make biodiesel for his own use from the seeds that he grew. To start out making biodiesel, you measure out the methanol and lye that's needed. And then you mix those two together and you get methoxide. And then you measure out the amount of oil that you need and you mix that with the methanol and lye. Now I'm going to mix the methanol and lye and oil together. The biodiesel process is now set to where it's mixed, the chemical reaction will start to take place, and it will be done in about 8 hours. So we can come back then and see how well it worked. Most farms, like this farm here, would get their fuel from the town. They'd have to get it shipped in. We use about 10,000 gallons of diesel per year, and we could, in theory, make that much biodiesel on the farm. And we could completely eliminate our use of regular diesel. And we could use the biodiesel for most any of the farm equipments that run on a diesel engine. All the tractors, some of the pickups, we could use for just about any of the equipment. This is camelina. It is an oilseed plant which can be used to make biodiesel. We have about 100 acres of it planted right now, and all the light yellow blossoms is camelina. Each plant has a bunch of small pods, and inside each pod there's about 6 seeds. The seeds are very, very tiny. You can see here's one pod. A camelina is unique in several different ways. It's a good crop because it has a high oil content. So if we're harvesting the oil from the plant, it's very good in that way. It's a very hardy plant, so it will grow most anywhere. And the weeds won't choke it out. And it has good nutritional value. Here's camelina oilseed, and here's a biodiesel which can be made from camelina oil. This is the starting product, and here's the finished product. It's cleaner, it burns cleaner. It is good also because it's using potential waste. You can make biodiesel out of oils that couldn't be used for anything else. And basically, if you take a waste, which you throw away, and you turn it into a fuel, that's immensely useful because that power wasn't there before. Obviously, everything that you do is because something else is made available for you. And how it's made available for you is lots of different ways. When you turn on a light switch, obviously there is electricity coming that powers the light bulb. And where does that power come from? It could come from, if you're in LA, it could come from the Hoover Dam, which is very clean. It could come from a coal-fired plant, which is not so clean, and there's some emissions there. And when you go to the grocery store to buy food, where does that food come from? It usually comes from some farm or ranch. Here we have a solar panel, and on top of the hill is a windmill. Both of these are good alternative energy sources. There's a lot of different alternative energies out there now. There is solar power, little solar panels to charge your batteries. There's for your cell phone, they have little solar panels. There's some you can buy solar panels that go on your roof to supplement some of your power. And there's lots of different ways. Outside of the cities, they have some wind power. So earlier today, we worked on making some biodiesel in a small batch process. So now we're gonna see how it turned out. And with this amount, we could maybe mow a small lawn. Now the goal is to be able to make the processor for the farm and have it running so the farm can make the fuel. And that's not so much because I want to win a prize at a science fair, but because, the farm needs it. Inventions and the inventors that make them are necessary for the improvement of the world. Because if you look at the world in the 1800s, what was it like? What is it like today? And why is it different? All because of technology, all because of inventions. And for the world to step forward, for people to step forward, technology is what makes the world change, what makes it a better place for us to live in, what makes the world a better place.
This film is brought to you by 4-H, America's largest youth development organization, in collaboration with Montana State University and Terrapod.